how's it going, everybody? Bam Bam Vertical here, and today I'm gonna tell you a story that happened about 2 weeks ago, and this might be a longer video, so just stick with it because it's a pretty crazy story. So let's get right into it. Okay, so the story starts when me and my Boy Scout venture crew were going on a canoe trip. We started off getting to the meeting spot, which was just a gas station, and we got there and loaded the cars with our gear and left. The car ride was long and I had to get up early that morning, so I just passed the hell out and slept the whole car ride. When we got to the lake, we got all 3 canoes out and in the water and got our gear all in and settled. Given that this was just a one-night trip, we had a lot of shit. So we got everything settled, and our leader, we'll call him Mr. Hulk, told us that him and our other leader are going to drop off the car at the takeout point. So they went off and the rest of us started going on the water to a meeting spot that we set up prior. So when we got on the water, one of the canoes was one person short, so our friend who was in it was just in the back of it by himself, and with all the gear in the back, he was basically doing a wheelie with the canoe. So the front was out of the water and the back was almost sunk, that was freaking hilarious. So we got to the meeting spot after like 10 minutes of canoeing, and we ended up waiting there for a really long time, like an hour or so, but we all just joked around and had fun. But we were just there in 100-degree Fahrenheit weather, so that kind of sucked because it was like that all day. So after they got back, we were on our way. We paddled for a while until we got to our first portage, and a portage is where you have to take everything out of the canoe and bring the canoes and everything across land until you find a spot where you can put it back in the water. So we did the portage, which sucked because I'm weak as hell and everything is heavy as hell. So we got through that portage and canoed some more and then portaged again and got through that one. So after that I was tired AF, but we kept going on the water for a while and we had to drop off one of our members because he had to go to another camp. We had to wait for a long time though because we couldn't find his dad, so Mr. Hulk went and looked for him. All of us just played around with rocks and crap and we're just having fun in the meantime. When Mr. Hulk and the kid's dad finally found each other, they got settled and we went off again and switched canoe partners. So I got in with, we'll call this guy Brady. So Brady and I went off with the others again. So after a while, we hit some rapids, which weren't so bad because we saw them coming on the map, so we were ready for them. So we got through that and got to smooth water again. After a little while, we hit the second set of rapids, which we knew were coming, but we were not prepared this time. So we hit the second set of rapids, which were freaking crazy. The water level was so high that we couldn't see all the rocks, and there were tons of them. So we couldn't see what was in the water for the life of us, and we hit a certain rock that was out of the water, and we couldn't control where we were going. So we hit this rock sideways, and we hit it at a really weird angle that it literally tipped the canoe, and Brady and I fell out of the canoe, and it completely filled with water. We were swamped. So we were just stuck there in the middle of raging whitewater rapids. We stood up and finally got our balance and shouted out to Mr. Hulk for help, and he had enough control to stop their canoe and get out and come help us. After like 25 minutes of him walking over to us, he finally got over, and when he got to us, he helped us get out of the water and the canoe out of the water, or the water out of the canoe. And we did, but it wasn't easy because it was really, really freaking heavy. But we started to lose our water jugs that were tied to one of the bars across the canoe, but we got them back luckily before they floated downstream. But I thought I lost my personal water bottle, but I'll get to that later. So we got the water out of the canoe, and Mr. Hulk tells me and Brady that we have to walk the canoe through the rapids. So we try to do that, and we get stuck again, so we had to get it off of another rock. So we did that, and then Mr. Hulk tells us that we're going to have to grab the canoe from the side and float with it through the rapids. We tried to do this, and we were hitting our backs and knees across a bunch of rocks at like 10 miles per hour, which you can imagine how that feels. Not so good. But after only a few seconds doing this, I get sucked under the canoe by the current and was getting waterlogged and was panicking because at this moment I actually thought I was going to die. So I'm just there trying to hold my head above water while my whole body is getting sucked under the canoe. I was about to lose my grip when Mr. Hulk grabs my arm and pulls me up after like 5 seconds. I finally get back up standing, but that 5 seconds felt like an eternity. If you've ever had one of those moments that felt like it was in slow motion, this is what that felt like. It wasn't very fun. So I get back up and we start to walk the canoe down the rapids, and it was not easy because the water was deep and the rocks on the bottom had algae on them, so it was very slippery. So we finally get the canoe out of the rapids and back into smooth water. So after all that, we just had to take a breather, and I was just trying to mentally process what the absolute frack just happened. So we eventually got to our campsite and got settled, but a few people's stuff was completely drenched, which sucked for them because when the canoe filled with water, all their stuff got wet because some people didn't have their stuff in waterproof bags. But we were all okay. None of us got hurt. So then, when we got into smooth water after all that, one of our crew members actually found my water bottle floating down the river, so I got that back, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, everyone was alright, and we hurt from hitting the rocks, but there were no injuries, and we went on with our night at camp till the next morning. And that's the end of that story. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and hit that notification bell. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.